group who's committed for here said they don't want the
cannot read and write. Young people want to read and write. They don't want to become soldiers and go to war and get killed. That's not the way to
If we
go.
have an opportunity, we try to accommodate everybody we
Young
can.
people want to solve problems. They don't want to go and kill young people overseas.
Our Constitution is what gives us permission to stand.
Let's have an intelligent young
That's what every soldier says. I just do what I'm told.
We want good jobs for the young, not prisons or
We need you to stand with us.
So what is it he said?
Education.
He said we don't have permission to bring signs on the grounds.
On the grounds?
Yes. And I said we do. We have a Constitution.
Now I can understand inside, but we can't bring signs inside. I mean, on the Capitol grounds. I mean, anywhere on the Capitol grounds.
He said we need a special permit, higher than the U.S. Constitution.
Well, that's just it. Our Constitution gives us the right to regress any briefs we have,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Not just the rights, the responsibility.
Exactly. So
that's what when they say, do you have a permit? I said, of course we do.
Right.
Of course we do.
This is what I'm predicting.
Yes.
All right.
Money for education.
Yeah, this is just as loud as you want.
One of the biggest things about American industry is that we are well known for innovation and technology. We have done tremendous things here in California by upscaling our offices and our factories and so on. But there's been a hidden side of industry which has affected all businesses in California of any size that most people are unaware of. And that's the issue of outsourcing. You know, I come from the title insurance industry, and in my business, the same thing has happened to Hewlett-Packard, to Silicon Valley, to Telecom Valley up in Sonoma County, has happened in the title and insurance industry. Our jobs have been outsourced illegally to foreign countries. Now, I say illegally because in the case of title insurance, major national insurance companies, First American Financial, Fidelity National Financial, Old Republic International, and Stewart have engaged in unfair and corruptive business practices here in California. They have taken jobs from California workers. They have forced California workers to work overtime without paying them. And adding insult to injury, they have illegally outsourced our title insurance jobs to foreign countries. Now, when I discovered this several years ago, I assumed that when I contacted the former insurance commissioner's office, there would be action taken. But I was given a, shall I say, a fast track to the side rail, and nothing happened. So I waited and waited, and finally we had a new insurance commissioner, Dave Jones. Forgive me. I spoke up at an insurance commission fraud assessment hearing regarding this issue and other issues regarding title insurance companies and these outside corporations that have come into California to take our money, take revenues, but not leave any jobs here for California workers. And of course, they don't pay California taxes. The companies that they have doing business here in California are shells. They only have a very small amount of assets, and all of those are basically leased from the parent company. So when I contacted the insurance commissioner's office, I followed up several times. They've told me that they're still looking into this. This goes back all the way to the time of the illegal Quackenbush raid. The insurance commissioner Quackenbush, who was very corrupt, who took money from insurance companies. And you look the other way when First American began to outsource title insurance business back in 1998. Eventually everybody got on board, and we've gone from having a title insurance company with a title plant in every county in California, at least one, sometimes two or three, competing, to 4 major title insurers or insurance companies that own California subsidiaries that have bought up all these title companies. They've consolidated title plants to central locations, and then when that's happened, they've duplicated the plants overseas, and then they've been squeezing the plants here in California. Now, this has happened with other industries as well. We've seen the fallout. I live in Sonoma County. We have
Excuse
tens
me,
of
ma'am.
thousands of jobs that have been lost from the telecom industry and Agilent Technologies simply because they wanted to create a one-year illusion of profits by lowering labor costs. Sending work overseas doesn't really improve company profitability. It doesn't really even improve productivity, because what ends up being produced overseas in these sweatshop factories, whether it's for title insurance, whether it's for electronic goods, results in slavery of people under conditions that would not be allowed here. Working conditions, job hours, all those things all the laws that we have here in California are ignored overseas. So it occurs to me, the only way that we can bring our jobs back to California is for the Californians to speak up for themselves and take action. Now, I'm here today as a Republican. I'm a conservative. But my solution to this is something that many of you would probably agree with. It's time for California to take action in the form of a general strike.
Hey, that's it.
Legislators are not listening to our press conferences or letters or actions in any great way. We have some pledges of cooperation. I spoke with Congresswoman Lynn Woolsey personally. She's agreed to help me take some action with the Financial Services Committee, but the Democrats have no power in Congress anymore, so it's going to have to be all behind the scenes. So if we're going to take any action to make changes to bring our jobs back to California, to stop illegal overtime in California, to stop abuse of California employees, we have to work together and begin a process of general strikes, starting locally and then ending up statewide. And we need to encourage all Californians to participate, no matter what their political affiliation. Because ballot initiatives are great. They take a while to get onto the ballot, and they may not even be guaranteed to be passed. If we take direct action on a regular basis, someone will have to listen. Thank you.
And what does that have to do? What does this have to do with the state budget deficit? Well, what has happened in California under both Democratic and Republican administrations is the outsourcing of title insurance has meant that when you transfer your house, the work has been outsourced overseas. That means that the foreclosures of these banks have been illegal. They haven't been able to get the documents to transfer these houses. That means they've defrauded the people of California with billions of dollars, these title companies and banks. We need to get that money. We need to get that money from the title companies and banks. There's billions of dollars that should go to the people of California. They don't have a budget deficit. What they have is a deficit of backbone to fight these banks and title companies. That's what they have, who owe us, the people of California, billions of dollars. Our next speaker, California, and Gene Pepe, who's a past vice president of the Amalgamated Transit Workers, Local 1555, is going to talk about the attacks that they face. Welcome, Gene Pepe.
All right. I'll see you on the ground.
Well, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. As a public transit worker in the Bay Area Rapid Transit District, on a day-to-day basis, I had to deal with attacks from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party controls the elected board. So these calls to break with the Democrats and build a Workers' Party are very true and very strong in the direction we need to go in. And I advocate that, and a step in that direction is to register in the Peace and Freedom Party and go to the left from there. I've been as a shop steward and as a vice president of local, I had to fight the Democrats on a daily basis and fight them in contracts, and they wanted us to take nothing and then give management their direct operatives in the workplace. They gave them 10% raises. That was what led, pointing that out to my co-workers in 1994 when I was on the negotiating committee, and it led to our strike in 1997. So there's two things I want to emphasize. Proposition G in San Francisco is a direct attack and an enslavement support of wage slavery of the municipal transit workers in the Transport Workers Union, Local 250A, the machinists that clean and maintain the buses in San Francisco that are funded with state funds. And we need to strongly support the workers who work for the Municipal Transit Agency in San Francisco. In addition, we have the semi-public workers of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union. On April 4th, the only union in the United States that took direct action to defend the workers of Wisconsin and extend the idea of real union action in the workplace, on the job, wherever we are, was the members of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, Local 10. Because of that, their employers in the Pacific Maritime Association have dragged them and bullied them into court and are attacking their union. I'm part of a defense campaign of the ILWU and particularly of Local 10 and their president, their former president now, Richard Meade. So after that, please give me your name. We'll have information for you here shortly about the defense campaign. It's very important. They're being attacked under provisions of the Slave Labor Taft-Hartley Act. Taft-Hartley was passed and implemented jointly by the Democrats and Republicans. Taft-Hartley and the veto that Harry Truman made of Taft-Hartley would not have passed except for the fact that Democrats joined with Republicans to override the veto of Truman within a couple hours. Within a couple hours of the veto. And then Truman turned around and used Taft-Hartley 12 times while he was still in office and begging for labor support and saying he had labor support. And the labor leaders of the FLC, of the AFL and the CO at the time still supported him. So once again, after this, look for me and other people from the ILWU Defense Campaign and sign our petition, and let's get all your unions to endorse the campaign. Thank you for your time.
The capitalists and the government don't like the ILWU is because the ILWU actually had a general strike in 1934. In 1934, there was a general strike led by the ILWU. It shut down San Francisco, and you know something? The capitalists had to negotiate. And one of the lessons of that is the workers of California have to do the same thing. We have to shut down the state, and then we'll say, let's negotiate now. When the state is shut down, we'll see if you don't have any money. You say you don't have any money? If the state is shut down, then we'll find out if you have any money. That's the only thing the capitalists in this legislature understand. Power of the working class. Now, brothers and sisters, workers around the world have been protesting and striking. There have been general strikes against war. There have been massive strikes by the workers of Egypt. And the workers in 2006 in the United States had the largest May Day in history. One of the organizers of that, Maria Hall, who's also a member of United Public Workers for Action, is going to speak next. Welcome, Maria Hall.